Just know. Welcome to the building. Just know.
What's up, my people?
Well, this should be the third invite or the second one.
No, this is the first official invite, but the second overall invite.
No, hold on. The first official invite.
Yeah.
And the second overall invite.
Total.
So what it means that the first invite was not official.
No, this second one, Jude actually sent me something that looks like an email. with the details and like.
Yeah, because you're a professional, right?
Yes. So
Yeah.
I have to move. I have to move accordingly.
Yes, I admire your mindset. That's cool.
There's a saying, how you arrive is how you are addressed.
That's true. And how you do one thing is how you do the rest of the things. Right?
So I try to put everything in the same light to be in alignment.
Welcome to the Bluebasementt, Justin, popularly known as Justone. my name is Jude.
Hey, Jude Paul. Jay, I don't need any introduction. You know me too well, bro. Everybody knows me too well. You know what I'm saying? So we're here to do it. My name is Chidi. Let's go.
Yeah, so I've been watching before. So these are my people. Like, this is like a family business to me, right?
Yes, thank you.
So it's very personal. I take it very personal.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who have invited me for podcasts and stuff. They'll be like, please, can you retweet this or can you repost this? I will say, no, I really can't but for this one, there's no way I could say no to this one. This is family business.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
This is family.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
So today we'll be speaking on a very interesting topic, which we have an insider perspective on that, which is the conflict between managers in quote record labels with their artists. I think that's what we'll be talking about today. So it is an insider's perspective. So Justone is here to give us.
Justone has been in the business for a very long time.
Yes.
Before he started to embark on a different journey, but he was there and he was killing it, and he was, like on top of the game. He knows everything about entertainment, particularly the music industry. So that's why we are so glad to have you, so that you can, give us more insight and into
all this ruffle that is happening between artists and managers.
Yeah, so for me, I think the main thing is when it comes to anything that has to do with music, it's something that I have a direct relationship with. Like growing up, I grew up like around like my dad put me on some very good music.
Yeah.
Growing up, I used to listen to stuff like Gregory Isaac, Bonnie Spear, mostly Jamaica. My dad, Bushy Banty was one of his favorite. Then UB40, which is my all-time favorite reggae group. So going into the music industry was more of a love relationship. Yeah, it was a love relationship. And until you get there to the industry, a lot of people talk about the Nigerian music industry. Until you get inside, there's a lot of things you cannot, you shouldn't judge from the outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot, so many things. I could give you an instance, like if we're going on the topic that you're talking about now, right? Most of these record deals starts from a personal relationship, or this is my family, this is my friend. So from the top, there is usually no deals signed for a lot of them. It's just based on love, right? So many people go into recording deals without an actual recording deal.
Yeah.
So it's like, this music thing, you sabi this thing, I make we,
Yeah.
Then people get into it. From experience and from so many people I've seen, because I was still very close to many people in the industry, because we had the opportunity to work with a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like A-list artists. The records are there, like we see those, right? So I feel like overall, when you start like that, at some point there has to be some form of documentation to be signed.
Yeah.
And even at that point when that is signed, when the artists start making a lot of money, or they see that a lot of inflow of cash is coming in, but they feel they're not getting as much as they should get, it's always a problem sometimes. And in some cases, the record label owners already invested so much in it. And when they don't see enough money coming in, it's a problem for them too. So it's give and take. On both ends, it's not... Sometimes it goes all sweet, sometimes it goes a little sour, sometimes it goes... But overall, you cannot take the amount of people that are involved in creating one record, right? There's so many people involved. From producers, from even random friends who just sitting with ideas pop up. I've been in studios where from just sitting down, a beat will be played and boom.
So, but are you saying that there is this kind of domestic arrangement, not legal documentation,
it's very common.
Between the producer or the record label and the artist?
Oh yeah, so it's actually very common, especially in the Nigerian industry. Even here, it happens here too. Most record label, the first artist they had was based on love, not based on any legal documentations that was signed anywhere.
Yeah.
And then over time, when they start seeing the inflow of cash, they decide like, I think we need to put something down. Like, official, just to be official.
Yeah.
Because at the time when you don't put any proper documentation in writing, what happens then is the artist is expecting this much, the record label owner is expecting this much, but they didn't really say in writing. So if you don't put that in writing, there's no legal binding to it. So it's like you're doing whatever at that point. So you just need to. I feel like every deal should be from the start. Signed, talked about. You bring your ideas, like what you think will be deserving for you, and if I'm the investor or you are an investor, you bring your own idea and say, oh, this is what I think will work for both parties, so both parties can be happy, right? It could be a 60-40, however you want to do it. But there has to be a communication before, even because without the communication, you can't put it in writing. So from the communication, initial communication, that's when you put it in writing, and then that's when the deal is being struck. Then you have a legal professional to witness that and do the signing. I feel that should be in every record deal, any new artist, or because the thing is, most of these artists, they're hungry, like they have the drive, right?
They have the drive.
So they have a drive to make it from the beginning. So at that point, when you give them any deal, most of them take it. They don't even read it. Some of them don't even have lawyers. So that's the problem right there. It's
because
a big problem.
They were desperate.
They were moving according to desperation.
Yeah.
So you say common source of conflict is artist vision and business strategy. How does that really work? The vision of the artist and the business strategy from what you're saying.
So I think it's all part of the business process, right? So it's like, it's a combination of, again, the artist cannot take the whole credit. The record label owner cannot take the whole credit. There's a lot of work that goes on the ground. So much work. I've seen artists that have, that get like inspiration from their friends, the friends that they grew up with, like just sitting around them and talking. Inspiration comes from there. So the main conflict is, it comes from the outside most times, not from
outside, like friends.
Yes, well, it depends. It could be anything, because inside there's an unspoken understanding. Even though it's not written, they both know what to expect. Whoever is investing and whoever is benefiting from the investment. Whether there is a document signed or not, there is always an unspoken understanding. Right? They know that, this person invested this much. So let me give you for example. We're in 2025, right? So 12 years ago would be 2013. So let's say 12, 13 years ago. So shoot a standard video at that time, 13 years ago, right? A real professional video. If you want to use maybe somebody like Clarence or Limited LA or my very good friend. Limited LA is also my very good friend. Patrick Ellis.
Okay.
you are looking close to like 6, 7, 8 million. A lot of people don't know. Back then, not now, right? People used to think music videos were like 1.5 million at that time. But even the location, for you to get the location, sometimes you get a location of 500,000 to rent a place that you want to use for your video shoot, right?
Yes.
And also, there's a camera that was used back then. I think it was called the Red camera.
Yeah.
Very expensive. Only a couple of people had it back then in Nigeria. And a day, to rent that camera, you spend 500,000. You believe you have to spend 500,000 for one day, 24 hours. 500,000 is not even, you are not going to have the camera for the whole day, for 24 hours. You are having it for like maybe during the time of your shoot, right?
Yes.
So if your music video extends to another day, that's another 500,000. They don't care if you have 1 hour or 2 hours. So imagine that much investment going into that. That's just for a video.
Yeah.
Now, before the video comes, there is production. When the song is ready, there is radio tours. People don't know about that, how important that is. You go to the places like the Beat FMs. They don't tell you that, oh, we have an official charge, like something you have to pay, but there is an unspoken official charge where you meet people that will say, oh, yeah, you have to give us like 1 million, so give us like 500,000 in different situations.
Yeah.
So different strokes for different folks.
Okay.
Actually.
So if during your time in what record label?
KKTBM. It was called Cash Cab Trick Billionaire Music.
Say that one.
KKTBM.
KKTBM.
Yes.
Cash
Camp Trick Billionaire.
Cash
Camp Trick Billionaire Music.
Is it still that record label? Is it still in
Yeah,
existence?
KKTBM is in existence because KKTBM was built based on law. I always say this. I'm sure you know that. You know this, Chidi, because it's like, it's now I work in IT, right?
Yeah.
This is what I started. Like,
exactly.
This is what I do. So, but even now as a cybersecurity analyst or IT risk analyst or whatever you call me now, that is one of the most fun time of my life. You know?
Yeah.
I was the general manager of the record label. It was all built on love. It wasn't really planned like that. Yeah, it wasn't planned like, so my friend, one of my best friends, one of my overall best friends, he called me and I was like, hey, one time he called me, was out of the country, and he was like, hey, this guy, they say you're close to this guy, he's so good. I was like, oh yeah, it's a genius. I don't know anybody that raps better than him. I still stand on that till today. He probably might see this. I think he probably might see this video or something. But yeah. But I'm not saying that just because he's going to see it. But it's facts, right?
Yeah.
There were top rap artists that gave him that credit.
What's the name of this artist?
His name is Young Six.
Young Six,
yeah.
okay.
A lot of people know Young Six.
Young Six, yeah.
Six is one of the most talented people I've ever seen.
Yeah.
The things he can do with or without the mic is crazy.
Yes.
Literally crazy. There was a freestyle he did in Ghana, and then we were talking one day in the studio, and I was like, he played it, and I was like, we have to turn this into a song.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So we have to turn it into a song. And while we're talking about that, he was like, oh, no, I'm not. That's how crazy it is. Like, for me, I felt the song was excellent. I was like, no, the song is not good enough. I was like, how? This song, even though one of his best songs, the first song we ever did with him, because, mind you, it was with Storm Records. That's the biggest record label in Nigeria at that time. Before you think about the more hits than anybody, Storm Records was already far gone.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah, Storm Records is big. Storm Records has like an artist catalog of over like 20 artists at one point. They were sponsoring like everybody. Sasha P, YC, Nato C, and I think they had about 3 or 4 shareholders, major shareholders. Nato was one of them. So Nato was one of them. Nato's, I think that's Nato's uncle. I don't want to state allegedly.
Allegedly.
Obi Asika.
Yeah.
Who is also the uncle to Davido's manager.
Yeah.
Asa Asika.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Obi Asika was one of the top bosses. Olisa Adebwa, who is one of the top bosses in top presenters in Beat FMs. Those were some of the pioneers of like radios, right? He's one of the owners too.
Yeah.
Then I can't forget Bobby Bodas. People call him Tall. His real name is Tola Odusin. So, but Bobby Bodas is like his alter ego. He's good behind the cameras. He's good behind everything. He did one video for us for free. The video with MI, Bansh, Youngsters featuring MI.
Yeah.
That video was free. Yeah, he did it for us for free.
Free?
Yeah. He will always say that all people have to do, where we shot the video was his club. The location free.
Yeah.
Cameras free. That's his personal camera. The only thing we paid for that day was stylist. We used Ice Prince's stylist, which is one of our close guys too. His name is Shay, Sneaker Boy. They call him Sneaker Boy.
Okay.
Yeah, Shay. So that video, MI was there. Shay was there. So when we shoot videos, people like to come because our videos were very intimate. Like there's so much details in point. Like I'll tell you, for the first class video shoot, I think that's one of the first videos. Again, this is not 100%. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah.
Because tomorrow night they'll go brief video comes in our live. People don't pop Ace and this thing before. But in that video, right, the amount, I personally went to buy the drinks, get the drinks.
Yeah.
If you go watch that video again today, you will see like Dom Perignon, Ace of Spades, like we were actually popping them. Those things they were not like something that were constant in Nigerian videos.
Yeah.
You see the bottles there, but we spent over like almost 4 million for drinks alone for that video. Just for the drinks. Now, it wasn't planned. You know? But again, record label owner, it goes with the vibe.
It goes with the vibe,
Yeah, it was my very good
So
friend.
when you say KKTBN was just like love and family business, are you saying it was more like oral agreement, no legal?
Well, let me tell you. I'll tell you exactly what happened. So, I think I flew to Warri for something, and then my friend called me. I was like, "Hey, you know, I really need to meet with this guy. This your guy. You know, it's too good. He has been telling me about him for years, and I've connected him before one time, but he was like, I want to meet him in person. I said, okay.
Who and who? Who wants to meet?
The record label owner wants to meet Youngsters.
Oh, Youngsters. Okay, yeah.
So, the record label owner, his name is Prince Nefe. So,
Prince Nefe. I don't know.
I call him Morpheus. Morpheus is Don.
Yeah.
So he called me and I was like, okay, cool. So I booked a flight. I was in Warri. I booked a flight to Lagos. We were at 4 Point, and then 6 came. Later the day came with this guy, Phenom. There's a good rapper too called Phenom. I don't know if you know that guy. Phenom was phenomenal too. So they came together, or it came after or thereabout. We had this talk. The initial talk was just, hey, I like your music, I like what you do, and me and Jazzy, they call me Jazzy.
Yeah.
Me and Jazzy, we always talk about like, you know, because I don't want people to go out confused for Don Jazzy. This is not too
Yeah.
Yeah, we always talk about your music and how good you are. And it doesn't know this person. That's why I said it started from love.
Yeah.
There's no personal relationship. This is just off hearing somebody's record. And then say, who is this? And they say, even your friend is very close to him. So that was the connection right there. So we're at the rooftop drinking and talking about this, and they said, oh, whatever you need to take it to the next level, I just want to chip in. This is not a record deal, nothing like that. That's, yes, 100%. I'm sure Young Six and Nefe can confirm this. This is not a record deal. Just tell me what you need. This is based on pure love. Let me tell you, I have to say, right, I've never seen anybody that moves like that in my life. I don't see anybody that moves like that. I'll tell you, oh, I don't care if it's 10 million, 20 million. But back then, at this point, dollar was 185 naira to $1. So if somebody is trying to tell you that, oh, I could give you 10 million, 20 million just to put in your craft.
Yeah.
I'm not asking for anything back. That's pure love, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Six was the owner of Cash Camp.
Okay.
Morpheus already owned a record label called Trick Billionaire Music. but they're not affiliated. This is two different. It wasn't really active, right? He had an artist that was already in the label, which is one of his good friends, Sean Dennis. That's my guy. But it wasn't really an active venture like going on. So on that rooftop that day, I told Six, I said, Six, let me talk to Nathan 1 minute. I called Six in one and I said, what do you prefer? Do you prefer this person just roll out this cash, or do you want to be, I feel like if there is a form of understanding for it to be an ongoing process where it's putting in and getting something out.
Yeah.
I think that will help you better than just giving 10 million or 20 million or whatever amount he decides to give. And he said he wanted to say that, but he didn't want to be too forward. I said, okay, don't worry, I got it. So I called my friend to the side and I said, Morpheus, I don't think we are moving right. I understand that, I understand that it's all love, but but what I did there was I had to get where Six Heart was at that time.
Yeah.
And he preferred the long term over like just getting that quick cash. So a lot of people take that quick cash and say, do whatever they want to do with the money with no questions asked, right? So took it to the side, we talked about it, and I was like, so I was and I called Six back. I said, we said, this is all three of us in agreement now. Nobody's going to take the credit. Me, I can't take the whole credit. Morpheus is not going to take the whole credit. He never takes credit. He's that type of person.
Yeah.
He never takes credit for anything. He likes to be behind the scene, right? Six is also not going to take the full credit. In fact, I've seen situations where people will call me and say, I was just with Six, so the things he was saying about you,
Yeah.
No matter where I'm at, I can't, there's nothing, it was all built around love. Yeah. And right there, you own KKTB, you own Cash Camp Music, you own Trick Billionaire Music. How about we merge this together? Now, this did not come from me. I don't remember where we came from. I don't know if it was Six or Nefe or me that said that, but somebody said it, right? Amongst the three of us. And that's where Cash Camp, Trick Billionaire Music came from. Now, the good thing why it was so easy to work with Six was he already had so much gigantic projects that he used to be signed to Storm Records.
Yeah.
They already had songs like crazy. One of my all-time favorites, Oh My Gosh, that's the name of the song. You need to listen to that song. Like, the
Was he signed with Storms?
Yes, it was signed with Storms Records.
Okay.
Yeah, Storms Records signed him. Was with them they did a lot of music with Storms.
Okay.
It was in Storm Records at the same time. Need to see all of them were in Storm. It was there.
Mm-hmm.
He had some good music. The song that had Wizkid, Follow Me, was done while it was at Storms. A couple of songs. The reason why it was so easy to work with him was there was a couple of songs, very good songs that was already done. And when it was time for us to release his first album, now he never had an album with Storm. I think he had mixtapes and singles, right? But the first official album was done by us, right? The track listing was arranged by me. So I sabi arrange track listing. If you listen to that song from the album from 6 o'clock is the name of the album.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you listen to the album from the beginning to the end, the track list, the arrangement, if it's not, people write arranged by Jay, right? They'll put it under there, but we didn't do that then. It was because, again, I came in with no real experience. That was my first experience with managing a label or anything.
Yeah.
But because you already know so much people and already had so much project going on, it was very easy for us. It was, MI gave him the name, the King of the Stars. That's MI gave him that title. One of their songs, I think that song was called Exports. Export is a mix. Yeah, you should listen to Export. It's MI featuring Young Six. That's one of the greatest records that ever came out from Nigeria. The songs is not on iTunes. I don't think it can be, because it was. It's not a. It was like you're making somebody else's song. I think Rick Ross owned the original beats. So they remade that, right? So MI put it on his mixtape, Illegal Music. That's the name of the mixtape. I think he had Lego Music 1, 2, 3. I don't know how many he goes, but M, that's my guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, me and M, Ice were all very close. The whole Chocolate City, they were on speed dial.
Yeah.
If I had any questions or anything that I needed, I was struggling with in the industry, MI's manager, I think he's the president of Chocolate City right now. They call him Booz, but his name is Abuchi. When the president stepped down, MI took over as president. But MI stepped down, I think, and made Abuchi president of Chocolate City. But a lot of people don't know, they have a lot of artists that are making waves right now, too.
Was Youngsis the only artist with KKTBN at that time?
No, we had artists in different places. We are affiliated with a group of guys in their group. I think they were in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
We had an artist in South Africa, B-Rays. His name is B-Rays. We had Percy, who took the hook for First Class, very amazing song. Then we had Sean Dennis. So we had multiple people. At one point, we signed Phenom. Phenom is a rap guru. We signed Phenom. So we also signed a female artist too at one point. So yeah, it was a lot of people. It wasn't just Young Six. But Young Six was the lead artist for KKTBM. It was the face of KKTBM. Like you said, Mercedes, the face of Mercedes is the S-Class, right? So people think it's the G-Wagon. The S-Class.
So in all of this, you've been talking about the rosy part of manager, artist, and all that. But the real question is the conflict. In all of this, you started with love. At the end of the day, there was contract, and which most people know that manager, artist, there's always a contract.
Yep. Not always.
Not always a contract. No. It starts, as you said,
that's started from the beginning to end, no contract at all.
From the beginning to end, no contract.
Yeah, many record label.
I guess that's where they have conflict, because when they start making money,
yes,
there'll be a conflict because you have the outside influence and all that.
Exactly.
Because now you have money like your boss.
Right.
You know. So at what stage does this contract really go sour? Even at the middle of the contract, what kind of influence, aside the outside influence, artist vision, and even the manager's vision or strategy and all that? Because put all these things together, it's really confusing sometimes. There's a written agreement, there's a strategy, there's a vision, and that vision was carried by the artist and the manager. So at what stage, putting together the different conflict with the different, not just that you've been talking about your record label, that's cool. It's still loved today. Talking about the general artist and manager stuff that goes on every day that we hear.
So I would specifically say that there's a lot of recording acts that did not sign any record deal. Like from the beginning of.
So they only make us feel that they signed.
Yes, sometimes it's just like it's very fictional. Sometimes there are a lot of times where it's signed, but I'm just letting you know that it's not 100% of the time that a deal is always in place. Sometimes it's just from spoken words. Oh, you owe me 2 albums. After 2 albums, you can go. Or you owe me 3 albums.
Really?
Yes, there are sometimes like that.
Yeah, that doesn't bind.
No, but that's why I said most times it starts with love. The way we started KKTBN, right? It was similar, right? It's the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing was months after when we were going into it, we started going into it like heavy.
Yeah. I
think all parties agreed that we just had something. Even the day we were signing the document, it was like we were laughing. Because we know what the goal is. We already know the goal. But we didn't really, for us specifically, we didn't really have any fighting over money, per se. But in the industry, we saw so many times where artists would sign this today and they would say, oh, they were forced to sign it, but most times the noise comes from the outside. I can tell you that. Sometimes the artists, some of them are comfortable just having that exposure. So, listen, I've met artists who just wanted exposure. They didn't want money. They wanted fame. They wanted to be all over the place. I've also met artists who wanted both. I've met some who just want the money.
Yeah.
So it's all, it goes in different directions, right? But I can tell you it's not always the case that there is a record deal signed by a lawyer and a witness in place. Not always the case. There are times where that is nowhere to be found.
So, but do you think in cases where they have these contractual agreements signed and documented, do you think probably at the long run, at a later stage when the artist is, right there at the top, making money, making waves, being famous, now do you think part of the problem might be like greed, selfishness, external influence, might be the reason the artist is going to say like, okay, we made 100 million and I'm having like 10 million.
Well, even some of the big artists that you know today went through all of that struggle. We're just not going to call names.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of the big artists you know today, like some of the best artists from Nigeria went through that, whereby they had a deal where they were making 25% off the gain, right? Off the income. Making 25% of it, but then they have to pay their personal manager from the 25%. This story I'm putting is specifically to one particular artist, but we cannot mention names.
Yeah,
and
we don't.
their manager will take, I think, another 10 or 15%. Leaving the artist with 10% or 15%. And then the record label goes on at 75. So yeah, it gets to a point. The kid was signed at that for the drive and the hunger at that point in time. Right?
Yeah.
But over time, he's seen that, why am I having 25% and then I still have to pay the manager? Why is the label not paying the manager? That's where those type of problems come from.
Yeah.
But there's opportunity for contract review and negotiation.
Yeah, but sometimes people don't want to listen. The boss, if the record label owner says, "Oh, this is the agreement we have in place," so sometimes there are a lot of agreements that they tried. Sometimes they go the wrong way. I'll give you another example. So I don't feel like the artists, they handle it the right way in this situation in most cases. I also don't feel like some of the record label owners or the general managers handle it in the right way.
Yeah.
So the blame comes from both sides.
Oh no, it's for everybody.
Oh yeah, sure.
It's always from everybody.
And
No one person is
more
going
from the managers.
No. So the thing is, no one person is going to take the blame for anything like that. I'm always going to say that. You know why? Because if one person was brave enough to say, you know what, we are family, let's sit down and really talk about this. I think people will want to sit down and really talk. But I've seen situations where some artists will go, when they look, they're not making enough money from the label, they will start taking events from outside.
Yeah.
Not going through the record label. It happens a lot with many artists in Nigeria. And they will say, oh, that's where the problem started from. We had some good friends in the industry who went through that. Where the artists started booking their own shows. Like, oh, it's my brother, that's my brother's wife's.
But that's breach of contract.
Yes. That's my brother's wife's event. So we just went to. But they are doing it not thinking that these people will find out. But it comes back sometimes. And then a lot of problems come from that. So sometimes it could be the manager or the owner of the label always saying, oh no, we are going to stick by this 15%, 20 or 30 or 50, however percent of the sign until this contract is done. When you give me 2 or 3 albums,
Yeah.
we can do. It even happens. It happens in every branch of business, even in sports, right?
Yeah.
When a player signs a deal for 5 years, if the player is bringing so much value to the club, right?
They have to review.
There's something called a contract review that has to
exactly.
be done within a couple of years for the contract to be done, right? Like, I want to review this contract. I'm bringing too much into this.
But to review the contract is not something that has to be in our mind, but at the same time, we have to have a clause to that.
Yes.
Yeah, we have to have a clause. But I think in most cases, there is no clause for contract review.
Oh, trust me.
And you understand.
Trust me, there is no. That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
So trust me, most it's now Nigerian artists are actually even signing contracts.
Recontracts, yeah.
Back in the days.
I could understand.
Should be your guy, D1 was here now on this. Yeah, it would tell you that. Like, back then, a lot of people did not sign contracts. It was, but you don't hear that boy music, that boy now fire, make we sign that boy. Make we sign that boy now for months. Back in the days, most cases.
They just give him documents.
Yeah, now I'm not saying that this is all of the situation.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, this is just to a group of people. But there are people who actually signed the contract. Like they saw the whole project, the manuscript from the beginning. And then they say, oh yeah, I like it. Or I don't like this part. Let's change this part. This is what I want to do. Yeah, 3 albums, I'll give you 2. I'll give you a couple of singles outside of the album. And then when we're doing the shows, you're getting this amount from the shows. From stream, you're getting this amount from,
royalties, yeah.
Now, when the person is exposed enough to be able to call some things out, I say, there is no clause here that we can renegotiate. Can we add a clause?
Where the problem starts from.
Now, when you don't do all of that, because you just want to sign, when that problem starts, I think this is the point where the artists have to take the blame for that one.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because it was not exposed.
Like when Jude said he thinks that most of the cases or most of the blame comes from the record label. I think it is been emotional, kind of, because in those kind of situations, because I used to be. I used to be. No, I used to be because I used to be emotional. I used to be on the side of the artist, like, oh, why, they are making so much money and the artist is not making so much, and he is the one doing all the work at the same. But when I began to understand, like, how these people invest money, the record label. They invest a lot of money and the things they go through to put you out there, for you to be on top. So it's all about contract.
Business.
It's all about contract. It's business.
Is the manager.
It's business.
The manager is not the owner of the business.
No, but I would say
the manager manages the business.
Yeah.
I was like KKTBM, and I didn't own any percentage of KKTBM. It was managing because the owner did not want to be on the scene like that.
Yeah.
So, but I was running the whole of the record label, like artist management. I would even go on shows. Like we did a 28-state tour, radio tour. I don't know anybody that have done that. Went everywhere. Went to Kano, Kaduna, me and 6.
What happened to KKTB?
Well, KKTBM, I feel like it was. I think at one point everybody had different ventures in mind, different things that they wanted to pursue.
Yeah.
And that was what happened. I had my goals. Morpheus had his goals. Six is a visionary.
Yeah.
Six is,
Yeah, I know.
I don't like to talk too much about it because.
So if you had to start a record label today, what would be the best advice to give?
Oh, the best. I think
artists, managers, and artists put together. What's the best way for communication? Best way for contracts? Because it's mostly the contract agreements that really give life to these relationships, either with love or business strategy or business minded.
As a manager with experience.
So when it comes to like any type of business relationship, even with marriage or normal relationship, I think the number one thing is communication, right? Well, anything that lacks good communication it's already heading for doom.
Yeah.
Because in some cases, you might have something that you want to say and you decide not to say. Yeah. And you think that, how would they react to it? How would they take this? But if you could, like I always say, brave enough, a lot of people don't know, but it needs bravery to do and call people and say, hey, let's talk about this thing. Before we even go into anything.
Yeah, before we even go into anything.
Yes, like even before you go into a relationship, I believe the time where you're dating the person, you're trying to know the things they like and don't like. Right?
Yeah.
So going into any type of business venture, whether it's a collaboration or you're signing an artist or whatever you're doing, right? I believe 100% that adequate communication needs to be in place. You have to talk about it. What are your goals? I'll tell you my goals. This is what I expect of you. What do you think you think you can do that, or what do you think you want to do? And at that point, I believe with all of that in place, it's going to help draft a contract that will tie both goals together and bring everybody in alignment. If that does not happen, there's always going to be a problem.
Yeah.
It's like just getting a piece of land in a swampy place and then building a foundation of it without doing like the appropriate work that you have to do. You have to fill that place and make sure that it's stable enough to hold the foundation, right? So the foundation in this situation is communication. Open communication. That's the first part.
Communication and shared goals.
Yes, for the communication, you share your goals, you have a draft, and the original manuscript, which is the first idea, which is the original manuscript that you have in place. And then when you have that original manuscript, then that's when you start putting like, oh, I don't think this part sits well, you know? I think we can do this there. You said 3 albums, I can give you 2 though, right? And then I'll do a lot of singles, just dropping singles on the sides, right? Again, you will always have to relate everything like that to me. My dad used to always say that, I can't believe I'm talking about my dad on a podcast. My dad used to always say things like, oh, just say it. It's always like, just say it. Say what you feel like saying, because at the end of the day, it can only lead to 2 results, right? If you ask somebody for something, what are the things they're going to tell you? It's right, but that would say it's only a yes or no. If it goes around and say, if they go around and say, I'll think about it, or let me get back to you. Trust me, it's only still heading back to yes or no. There's no other way to go.
Yeah.
So it's always 2 ways. So have the communication, open communication, discuss about it, share your ideas, share your manuscript. Oh, but this person said 4 albums. Can we reduce it to 3? The person will tell you, oh, I don't think so because I'm going to put a lot of money. So I need this back. Right? Shared ideas, shared goals, open communication, speak from your heart.
Yeah. That's very important. And now if you own a record label and your artist, one of your artists maybe flaunts the agreement or part of the agreement, and trying to opt out of the agreement, and you are the owner of the record label, in that case, what are you gonna do?
So it's the same thing as a divorce, right?
Yeah.
If somebody doesn't want to be here, I'm not even going to lie. I'm not going to force them.
Even without completing the albums as stipulated in the agreement,
yeah,
or whatever.
I'll tell you why. The reason why is, I'm not saying that I'm not going to try to.
Yeah.
To try to see how we can work things out, to bridge the gap, see if we have any space in between the gaps that we can bridge. But trust me, before somebody comes and say, hey, I don't want to be part of this agreement no more, I don't want to be part of this record label or this business venture or this marriage or relationship, they're probably thinking about it 6 months, 8 months, 1 year before that time.
Yeah, definitely.
Their mind was already made up.
Absolutely.
Right? So they're not going to give you their best. Their best is not forthcoming at that point anymore. You're not getting their best. So if you don't come to a tangible agreement where they feel like they are benefiting enough from that, right? As much as you were benefiting, and they just say, oh, the only way this is going to work, you have to do it this way. I think at that point you have to compromise and say, okay, well, let's just do it that way then. If you say you want 60-40 or 50-50, let's do it that way to run out this project. And then we can talk about another one and see if we want that or not. But if you are trying to do that and they are still resisting, trust me, they already have a project in their mind that they're working on.
Yeah.
Separate from that, at that point, they're not giving you their best. I'll tell you why. They will record some of the best songs and keep it away from the record label. They will have it, but the record label won't know about it. They will not use the record. They will record songs in the record label studio, in the studio owned by the record label, or wherever studio you use, right? But there are other songs, some of their best craft will not be done in that studio at that point. It will be done at their friend's studio or their hotel room or their house. And they will keep that for the divorce of that project.
The divorce of the project.
When the project is done,
they
will move on. And the next thing you say, this guy just break out from that record label. This is new album, I Die. That's where it came from. Those songs were already recorded from a place of pain, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was inspired at that time because it was recorded from a place of pain. So again, it all boils down to communication.
Well, it's interesting talking with you on this topic,
Just know we're gonna have. This is one of the most interesting topic because this is an eye-opening, topic to me. I'm a novice when it comes to the the complexities in entertainment.
Oh, it's very complex.
Yeah, I don't know. Everything we know is hearsay. So we're gonna make another segment for this. I'm telling you, because it's just flowing. We're gonna have another segment another time so that we can have more depth into.
I'm always ready.
Yeah, more depth into this.
Not always free, but always ready for family.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah. We appreciate you, man. This is.
Thank you guys for having me, man.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me. I know you offered me champagne, but I said I wanted water.
Yeah, water is
more.
So
I don't want you to think they didn't offer me anything. They actually did.
Without champagne. So it's been nice having you here and very interesting talking about the real insight between managers and artists. Though I know you've left that stage for now for the IT veteran. You've done your bit. And I'll say, we will say thank you for doing your business.
He's a millionaire now. He's a billionaire in naira.
If you want to go
and a millionaire in dollars.
If you want to go further to say thank you to your crew or let us know how people can also reach you and all.
Oh yeah, I can't. So again, like I said, that's no matter what I feel like no matter what I'm doing now, that's one of the most interesting times of my life. Yeah. There was just so much experience, so much that I didn't know from. Charlie being a music lover, I didn't know from the back.
Yeah.
Back end. So. Yeah, I will give a big shout out to Prince Nefe. That right there, that is you do not see people like that anywhere. His heart is very different from everybody I've ever met. I'm not even going to lie. Young Six, one of the most talented people ever. When people ask me every time, what is your biggest fear? I'll say this on this camera today. My biggest fear in life is not even death. Unfulfilled potentials. When you know that somebody has this much potential and you have only seen a fraction of it.
Yeah.
That's disturbing for me.
Yeah.
So today I want to when you're watching this video, I want you to go on social media or anywhere, Apple Music, Spotify, and check out Young Six. His Instagram, he has a lot of followers, millions of followers.
Yeah.
But this is just a sign of love, right?
Yes.
Young Six is spelled YUNG, the number 6 IX. That's on all his social media. Just try to look for him. And that's actually his stage name too. All platforms. He's on every platform. He is so talented, and I still believe that he has only accomplished a very tiny fraction of his potentials. And I know one day I'll wake up one day and I'll say, yes, this is what I was talking about.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
you. And for us on Blue Basement, we'll say follow us on IG, TikTok, Facebook, and please click that button. Subscribe
on YouTube.
On Blue Basement on every angle.
Yeah.
Thank you.